Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to HIMediaTV. I am your host, Evan from HIMediaTV, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to HIMedia Headlines for today, October the 29th, 2025. New World is dead. This is not hyperbole, nor is this clickbait. Amazon has officially ended new content for the mid-tier MMO following 14,000 layoffs. Jesus Christ. Now, granted, those layoffs at Amazon weren't just from Amazon Game Studios. 14,000 job cuts were announced by Amazon broadly. And unfortunately, Amazon Games was hit by that pretty roughly. My time with New World was good. I enjoyed it for what it was. Granted, it was always kind of just a prettier old school RuneScape, and that type of grind was never really it for me, unfortunately. That being said, all of the bugs and issues with its launch, it never really got super far away. It had a bit of an uptick after they released a new endgame zone and a new weapon to go with it, which, for those that are unaware of how New World works, the combat and the stuff is based around weapon types and a huge amount of skills that come with it. With that is to say, they have released, the new update that was meant to be a content release DLC, and they've made it free for all players, as well as the new one being Night Haven, as well as the previous one, Rise of Angry Earth. This is sad, right? Like, I don't. New World is not the penultimate game personally for me to play and enjoy, but I do have friends who left Elder Scrolls Online to go play the PvP there because it was more dedicated. Even so, this is unsurprising. These Amazon cuts are primarily because of a cutting down of middle management and trying to replace those with AI, as well as a general shrinking of the market. Despite being part of the so-called Magnificent Seven stocks that are basically the valuation of which that is holding together the American economy and GDP with the macroeconomic equivalent of popsicle sticks and toothpaste. It obviously things are still being hit no matter what. I think that New World Artaeum is a really interesting game. New World is a fun, if you liked a game like old school RuneScape, it feels like a grown-up version of that. One that with more robust combat that feels good. Regardless. At the end of the day, there is really nothing that can be done about this. And this is a big reason why things like Stop Killing Games are, petitions like that are as valuable as they are. Because, they have a relatively consistent number of players at the 50 and 60,000 run. It's not insane numbers, but certainly more than MMOs like Wizard 101 can tend to boast, and I love Wizard 101, but it's flagging for a reason. Regardless, I think I'm doubtful that Amazon is going to leave New World in any capacity that will allow us to be able to play it. I own the game. I will probably not download it and get back into it knowing that it is going to be going the way of the dodo, potentially, because Amazon has acknowledged that they plan to keep it online minimum until 2026. Not particularly the end of 2026. It could be gone completely and unplayable by that point. All in all, the server structure of New World was a big flagging issue with it, and the bugs there and in the early days. And while they have certainly turned the game around in really respectable ways that brought the game back from the brink, it's just there is no amount of money that is going to lead to New World surviving. It's never going to be Fortnite. And unfortunately, I think while there are normally cases of executives trying to make something that is never going to be what they want it to be present, I do think that Amazon Game Studios here is just in New World generally is a casualty of a shrinking of not just the tech industry but the economy at large. And aside from bitching at Jeff Bezos, there really is scarce little we can do about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this episode of High Media Headlines for today, October the 29th, 2025. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your listenership. And if you enjoyed this show, please listen to any of our other podcast shows, including Van Damnation, The Rundown, the Petty Pongliff Podcast, The Little Black Book, among others. All can be found at our main podcast page at himedia.gg/podcast or wherever you get your pods. And if and only if you have the financial wherewithal to do so, please consider subscribing to our Ko-Fi at the tune of $3 a month. Doing so gets you a ton of awesome and exclusive perks, all serviced through our Discord, which you should absolutely join at the link down below. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching High Media TV. Thank you. I have been Evan from High Media TV, and I will see you guys next time.